Hey everyone, Steve here from NetBeez, and stay tuned. I have a little teaser for you here throughout the video and at the end. But today we are covering the target management section in the NetBeez dashboard version 4. So let's go over the types of targets. You can put in a public website, a DNS server, different CRMs and work applications such as Salesforce, Google, Slack, Office 365, Zoom, WebEx. I mean, there's a lot of them that use on an everyday basis. VPN, internal applications. Basically, as long as there's an IP or a destination address, you can set up as a target as long as the agent that you're assigning it to has connection to that target. So here you can see all the targets that we're monitoring right now on this particular dashboard. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new target, and I'm going to abbreviate it. I'm going to call it BHT. And then we're going to monitor a couple different websites here. So the first one's going to be the main page. And then we're going to call this main. And we're going to do ping, DNS, and HTTP. Now what you can see here for each test is you can actually change the interval. So in this case, it checks DNS every 30 seconds. The timeout is 5 seconds. Ping, we're going to check every 5 seconds, also the timeout of 5 seconds. And then with HTTP, by default, the intervals are done every 60 seconds with a timeout of 5 seconds. But what's also really neat is what we have over here, and that is you can test through a proxy with HTTP or HTTPS with a proxy server address and proxy server port. You can do enable proxy authentication with the username and password, or you can do basic or NTLM authentication with your username and password as well. And if you want to do a trace route, this is going to test every 120 seconds. It's going to time out at 2 seconds per hop with a maximum of 30 hops. And then each test you see here, you can change the test type for some of them from ICMP, the TCP, and then you also have for traceroute UDP options. Now, I'm not going to do traceroute for this particular target, but I am going to add an additional resource, and that is going to be another page within this website. Just makes everything a lot cleaner if you have the main target with the sub-targets, and we're going to call this the CPU list. And we are going to do the same ping, DNS, and HTTP tests. We're going to go next, and then the only ones that should monitor this is going to be, for now, my server. You can also do groups as well, which we covered in the agent management video previously. But in this case, we're just going to do my server. We're going to hit next, and here is all of your targets that you have configured. We're going to keep this the way it is for now. Hit next. We can go ahead and put your email in here. Hit save, and there we go. So now if we actually go check my target here, you can actually see these two, and they're clumped together. So that's what's really neat, is all the subtests are clumped together like Google, Salesforce. So you can see that these are actually together under one target with two different resources. So while we're in the agent view here, you can see all the information about the agent in question here. So my server, you can see the availability, the published addresses, both internal and external, if that's available. So this is like the public IP, the IP assigned by the DHCP. And then here you can actually click on any one of these tests. We can take a look at Google, and it will actually tell us the day's average. You can go obviously back through the history of that, and you can do that with any of the targets on any agent to get a really quick snapshot on what the performance is of both the target and how well the agent is performing at that particular target. So this is a VPN test that we have set up, and there's a lot of ways you can configure this. How we've done it is, if you have a VPN that is back at your main office and you're a remote worker and you have one of our Docker agents set up on your laptop, or coming up soon is going to be our Windows agent that we have that we're working on. This particular test, what it does is that remote device has to be connected to the VPN that connect to these internal IP addresses back at the office. Without that connection, this would not work. It would be showing that these tests are failing. Another way you can do it is some VPNs also have public addresses that you can also run ping tests to as well. There's a lot of different ways depending on how your VPN is set up that you can set up a target to match your needs. But in most cases, it's having connection back to the office, and this is one of the most popular ways that people do VPN testing. Now, this is for the more advanced users, but this is how we have DNS server target configured. So what you do first is you say netbeez.net, and you set a DNS test, and then you have all these DNS servers, and you input the respective IPs. Then you add additional resources, and instead of putting NetBeez, you put the IP addresses. So in this case, this is the 4.2.2.2, and you run ping and traceroute for all the IP addresses listed. It's definitely a little bit more on the advanced side, but for people that want to measure DNS, this is how you would do it. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this video on the target management section of the dashboard. As always, you can reach out to us at sales@netbeez.net if you have any questions. Coming up, we have scheduled tests and ad hoc testing, the Wi-Fi section, more in depth compared to what we did in the agent management section, anomaly settings and custom/performance alerts, reports, which is being redone in the next release 5.0, which is slated to come in Q2 of 2020. And as I alluded to earlier, we have a new agent on the horizon. It is a Windows-based agent. It is in development and should be coming to a dashboard near you very soon. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you liked the video, like it, share with anybody you think it will help. And as always, this is Steve from NetBeez, and I'll see you in the next one.